Picture yourself, about 15 years from now, trying to rent your first real place. You've got a job, you've got some savings, but the landlord isn't just checking your credit anymore. There's a new number on the screen. It rates your whole household, your relationship status, your health, how many incomes you've got coming in, and it decides whether you're too risky, too expensive to insure, to hand the keys to. If you're single, that number is worse. Sounds like science fiction. It isn't. Every piece you'd need to build this already exists, and it starts with a record that just broke. In 2025, the number of babies born in America hit the lowest point the government has ever recorded. And when researchers asked women why they were waiting, the top answer wasn't the cost of daycare, and it wasn't their careers. It was this: they hadn't found the right partner, and they weren't willing to start a family without a financial safety net. Sit with that for a second. Before any scary number exists, a whole generation is already deciding whether they can afford a family based on whether they found a teammate and enough stability. The gate is already here. We just don't call it a number yet. This video is about the version of the future where somebody finally does, and how likely that actually is. So let's build that number, because it's the heart of this whole thing. Call it your household continuity score. Think of it like a stat in a video game, or one of those quizzes that tells you something about yourself, except this one decides how expensive your life is. It runs from A at the top down to E at the bottom. None of it exists yet, but every ingredient for it already does. And it rewards one thing above everything else: backup. Do you have a player too? 2 incomes instead of 1. 2 adults who can catch the family if one of them loses a job or gets sick. A wider circle to fall back on. If you've got that, the system reads you as safe. You price like an A. Doing it solo? You price like an E. Not because you did anything wrong, because there's nobody to catch you if you fall. Your insurer sees that. Your landlord sees that. Your bank sees that. One number, and everyone's reading the same screen. For any of this to be real, insurance has to break first. And most people picture insurance as just one company. It's really a stack. Behind your insurer sits a bigger hidden safety net, the insurers for the insurers, holding the money for when disaster hits. In 2025, the head of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, said out loud that within 10 to 15 years, there will be whole regions of this country where you simply can't get a mortgage because you can't get insurance. And it's already starting. 1 in 7 American homes now carries no coverage at all, priced out zip code by wildfires, floods, and software that decides your roof is too risky. Now you'd assume that means the whole insurance world is quietly collapsing. It's the opposite. Right now there's more money piled into that hidden safety net than ever before in history. A record $790 billion, all looking for somewhere to go. So the net isn't slowly wearing out. The only way you get the scary future is if it gets ripped apart all at once. A run of massive disasters, back to back, faster than the money can refill the net before the next hit. Not a slow decline, a shock. Then somebody has to build the actual score, and parts of it are already illegal. Using a credit-style number to price your insurance is banned outright in California, Massachusetts, and Maryland, exactly the kind of places this would have to spread through. A single score fusing your health, your money, and your household wouldn't glide into law. It'd get fought in court for a decade. You might also assume Wall Street already bought all the houses and is renting them back to us. Mostly that's a myth. Big investors own around 2 to 3% of single-family rentals, and lately they've been selling. The catch is local. In a few metros like Atlanta and Jacksonville, they own 1/5 to 1/4 of the rentals, and the smart money is quietly shifting to building whole neighborhoods that only ever exist to be rented. And the job market underneath all of this is splitting. Not a robot takeover, mass unemployment story. The early numbers are smaller than the headlines. It's quieter. The bottom rungs of the ladder are thinning out, the entry-level jobs, while anyone whose work pairs well with AI pulls ahead, which is exactly what makes a one-income household harder to bet on. So how likely is the hard version, an actual number on the landlord's screen? Line the pieces up, and it needs 5 things to go wrong at the same time. The safety net has to get shocked and not heal. A private score has to win out over the government simply stepping in. That score has to survive the courtrooms. Paying people to have more kids has to keep failing, and housing has to stay out of reach. 5 coin flips, all landing the same way. That's why the honest answer is maybe 15 to 25%. Real, but not the most likely path. Because the most likely future is honestly kind of boring. Call it the soft sort. It's today, but more so, life quietly costs more. 2 incomes become the unspoken default. Everything gets a little more sorted by who has backup and who doesn't. Not a wall you're locked out of, just a game that's permanently set to hard mode for anyone going it alone. And that same pressure is actually more likely to produce help, a government backstop, a floor of rights, than a private gate. But here's the part worth sitting with. When we picture a controlled future, we picture the government, a law, a mandate, someone in charge telling us what to do. That's not the gatekeeper in this story. The gatekeeper is quieter, and you already deal with them every year. It's whoever decides what you're allowed to insure, and for how much. Not a politician, your insurance company. So the number probably never arrives. But go back to where we started, that record low birth rate, and the reason behind it. Before any score exists, before any landlord runs any check, a whole generation is already doing the math. Can I afford this? Did I find my player too? Do I have enough of a net to fall into? The machine in the story is optional. The gate it would harden is already here. We just haven't given it a name yet.